Where there is a problem identified by your potential customers or clients, there lies value. Good evening. Today is October the 12th, 2024. Mr. Cage coming to you on an awesome Saturday evening. This is a business class. Excuse me, I would say. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Checking out the screen. Here we go. We're gonna get started in maybe 2 or 3 minutes. I would treat this as a class, which translates into taking some good notes, gathering the understanding of what's being said, and writing down your thoughts and ideas and questions. One of the goals of this conversation is for us to become time free, not for us to become rich in a natural sense, but for us to become wealthy as it relates to the time that we've been given. That is what I would say is one of the goals. This conversation is applicable to all business owners, whether you've been in the game for a while, you could be a newbie, or you can be in the middle as far as your time length in having a business. We're going to get this party rolling and started in a second, maybe in the next 2 minutes, or maybe in the next minute. Please, 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 please. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. We will post this on our YouTube page, but sharing is caring. Excuse me. And I would say participate. Participate. Let this be dialogue and not a monologue. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 statements that we will be sharing tonight that support the title, Where There is a Problem Identified by a Potential Customer or Client, there is value. I will be very, very detailed in my communication this evening. I'm going to be looking at a couple of screens to see if we have any questions. Then when a couple of days go past, I'll come back and see if there's any questions posted or feedback, and we'll take this off of Facebook, and you'll only be able to find it on YouTube. It is 8 o'clock. Let's begin. First statement, which is our foundational statement. This was a thought that was posted on our Facebook wall this afternoon. I think the statement was birthed from Dr. Pat Francis. There is I have to pull the CD that I was listening to. I think the title was Achieving New Levels of Financial Prosperity. She had a CD set out years ago, maybe a decade. I ran across it because I used to follow her, a lot. And the CD set was a set of 10. Excuse me. The cost was $100. I invested in those and listened to those religiously, routinely, consistently. I found it the CD set this week and start back listening to CD one. This thought was birthed from, what I heard, and I got the thought this afternoon and posted it. Many times I'll post thoughts. I don't post all the thoughts that I receive because some of those thoughts are meant to be meditated on. Some of the thoughts I do receive is or are posted because I believe it will add value to somebody, or sometimes I'll post them so I won't forget. This is the statement. Where there is a problem identified by a potential customer or client, there is value. The key phrase to highlight in this statement is a problem identified by our potential customer or client. A potential customer or client is not a customer or a client. They haven't become a customer or a client yet. Customer, when I think of a customer, I think of more so a person that comes into your store. They may be a faithful customer if you have a brick and mortar. A client to me is somebody that you service and you service them in a professional service aspect on a reoccurring basis. The two terms can be synonymous, but I distinguish them just because of my vision and understanding of them both. But one thing is in common. Both parties identify a problem. Both parties identify a problem. The problem that I observe with us as entrepreneurs is we'll have a great idea, we'll have a great service, we'll have a great product, we'll offer it to a potential customer or client, and those people may or may not agree to invest in our offering. Why? Because they haven't identified it as a problem. What I can see as a problem may be a legitimate problem. However, if the customer or the client haven't identified what I've seen as a problem, they will be more hesitant to invest in my service or product. I repeat, if the person, the people, or the group that I have a service or a product to offer has not identified the gap or what I've seen as a problem, they will be hesitant to invest or purchase the service or product that I have. The key point is your potential customer or client in the ideal situation have already identified their problem. That means that they're looking for a solution. They're looking for a solution because they've already identified a problem. Value, value. If you watch this and you interacting, type the word value, VALUE. We've emphasized a problem identified by the potential customer or client. I'm going to give you a quick example, but let me give you a definition of value. Value can be defined as what's important to the potential customer or client and not you. As an entrepreneur, business owner, value means what is important to them, not what's important to me. Let me give you an example of a customer or potential customer or client identifying a problem. I come out to my truck early Sunday morning on my way to church. I want to get to church by, let's say, 9:50. For me to get there by 9:50, I have to leave the house by 9:40. I leave out the house at 9:40. I get to the truck, start it up, warm it up, and I'm getting ready to leave. I put it in drive and it puts and it cuts off. I try to start it again. It starts up, I pull off, it puts, it cuts off. I try to start it again, it will not start. That is a problem. You don't have to convince me that that's a problem. I can easily identify my vehicle not starting or being able to be driven as a problem via my experience. You don't have to come and educate me on that. That's important to me. That is of value to me because without my vehicle, I can't get to church. I may be able to Uber, but I know my week is coming up and I need consistent transportation and reliable transportation to get from A to B to C to D throughout the week. That is a problem that you don't have to come and convince me, persuade me, or even educate me on because the experience has educated me and let me know that that is a problem. I will pick up the phone and call a mechanic. As a potential customer or client, I'm looking for their service. They have the service ready to offer it, but because I've already identified as a problem, I'm looking for them. The problem that some entrepreneurs face is they have a service or they may have a product, but the potential customer or client that they are looking to serve has not identified the problem that they have. It may not be a problem to them. We may see it as a problem, but if they haven't seen it as a problem, they will be more hesitant to invest in our service or product. And we wondering why we're not able to provide the service. We wonder why we cannot generate the revenue to sow back into the business and be able to possibly live off a percentage of the revenue. It's because we're trying to offer them something that they haven't identified as a problem because they haven't had the experience or they haven't had the education to reveal that this is something that I've overlooked. This is an issue. Moving forward, let's go. Now we in a groove. Services or products that we have to educate our potential customers or clients on for them to realize that it's a problem. Some of us have services or products that we have to educate the people on for them to realize that what we have to offer can solve your problem. That's a problem right there. That's a problem right there. I say that's a problem because now it's going to take time for the potential customer or client to realize that it's a problem. We have to educate them. When I was in positions training individuals from the talent acquisition standpoint, my motto and mantra was always, we educate. We don't sell, convince, or persuade. Our responsibility is to educate you on what we have to offer and give you time to think about if you want to be a part of it. And if you do, just follow up with us. That education that we was providing didn't have any strings attached. We sincerely would share with people that we want to educate you on what we have to offer to enhance your life. We would like for you to be a part of it, but we don't want you to be a part of it because we convinced you or persuade you. Because if we do, then we're responsible for the upkeep concerning your buy-in and consistency as you integrate yourself to be a part of our team. When we are in the positions where we have to educate our clients or our potential clients or customers, sometimes the trust may not be there. I say that because if they haven't identified it, what we have to offer, a solution to their problem, it could easily turn into we're trying to make a sale. And when we are primarily motivated by trying to make a sale, that muddies the water. That brings mixture to the communication, which could turn into persuasion or convincing them. And truly, it may be something that they may not need. It could be something that they need, but they haven't came to the realization as of yet. But it could be something that they don't need, and we find ourselves trying to convince them because we want to make the sale or transaction. Here we go. I touched on this already. This is the fourth PowerPoint, type 4. Number 4, ideally, we want them to be educated through their own experience, whereas they have come to the realization that the problem they have identified needs to be solved. It goes back to the car situation because my experience with the vehicle tells me that it won't move consistently throughout the week for me to be able to get from A to B to C to D to F. You don't have to convince me because I'm going to call you because this, to me, is a legitimate problem. I need your service. Another example for males is a haircut. For females, is getting our hairs done, shampoo, condition, style. These two scenarios from a male and female perspective, we can identify those as problems. We need to be, well, let me use me. I need to be well groomed in order to perform in my field, in my specialty. I can't go into a school. I can't go in front of professionals and facilitate a session or give a presentation if I'm not well groomed. I know that is something that I need. Same thing with the ladies. There are certain requirements needed to reflect professionalism to the marketplace that we find ourselves in or the industry, which incites a need to have our hairstyle. These are legitimate needs based on cultural norms. What am I saying? You don't have to convince me that I need a haircut. You don't have to educate me on if I need a haircut. My experience and my cultural experience will identify to me that this is what I need. That's the key word. I want you to type the word need. 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 Not want. Need. Ideally, we want our service. This is a key moment because when there's a problem identified by our potential customers or clients, there is value. Value is what's important to them, not what's important to us. It's based on perception. The key moment is that we want our service or product to be perceived as a need to our potential customers and clients. If the service and product that you offer is a need, is perceived as a need by potential customers or clients, your education of them is minimum. Is minimum. Because if they see what you have as a need, excuse me, if they see what you have as a need, that lets me know that they've already went introspectively and identified the problem that your service or product will solve. It's not about educating them on the problem that they have yet to realize. It's about educating them on the service or product that can already solve or resolve the problem that they've identified. That makes it simple. That makes it simple. We want to minimize the theatrics or gymnastics or processes associated with our product or service offering. That's minimized because those individuals already have identified their problem. I got three more. I got two more bullet points and I got one heavy paragraph that I want to share with you all this evening. And this is good timing. It's 8:17. It haven't even been 20 minutes yet. This is beautiful. Once again, remember, where there is a problem identified by a potential customer or client, there lies value. Value means that they've identified a problem, a situation that is important to them. If you ever find yourself as a business owner, if you ever find yourself as an entrepreneur, emphasizing a problem to a potential customer or client, there's there's time for self-reflection because it's it it if you have to, that may not be the client, the person or the group that you're supposed to be serving. Business strategy, best practice. Number one, you have to be, and we have to be a user of the service and the product that we're offering. We have to be our own client, so to speak. Because if I use the service or a product, I can tell you the process that's associated with my usage of that service or product. I can also give you the outcomes. I can also be a testimony of that. I don't believe it's a good or ethical business practice to attempt to offer something, service or product, to someone that you have not used. If you haven't used it, I wouldn't try to offer it to them because you can't speak to it. You can't speak to the value that is added to your life. One, two, three, four. Type number four. If you're watching this live or you're watching the recording. This also is a help to employees too. These are all strategies that I've used over the duration of my career, whether I was in a traditional employee setting, whether I was in a working from a contractual standpoint as what we consider as a freelancer, or if I was working, as a director of operations in the realm of entrepreneurship. Number four, we cannot solve someone else's problem if we are encumbered by our own problems. We cannot be a solution or provide a solution to someone else's problem if we are encumbered with our own problems. We have to be spiritually, mentally, physically, socially, emotionally, and financially stable. And when we experience stability, we transition into abundance, where these areas of our lives can spill over into the lives of other individuals as an overflow. If I lack stability in these areas, this is a key note. If I lack stability in these areas, let's just take emotionally. If I lack stability, if I'm destitute or in a deficit emotionally, then when I offer my service or product to you and you reject the service or product, I will internalize the rejection and it will stop my momentum. It can stop me from offering the service or product to other individuals. It can muddy or bring vagueness to my thought process because of an emotional response. We cannot solve anyone else's problems if we are encumbered with our own problems. As my pastor said today, life be lifing. Life be lifing. This is me saying this. The question is, how do we respond to life lifing? To me, if life is lifing, that translates into us being in the classroom and being taught a lesson. When you taught a lesson, one of the goals is to comprehend what is being taught, understand what's being taught, and assimilate what's being taught with the hopes of it transforming into lifestyle. Understand what's being taught, assimilate what's being taught, and as it translates into lifestyle. It translates into lifestyle. We never want to have to repeat a class because if we repeat a class, we go back to start. These last two PowerPoints are heavy, and these last two PowerPoints are inspired by my traditional employees and my entrepreneurs that have or that reflect employee tendencies. And I'm gonna give you clarity on what that means. That's it's not a shady statement. My goal is to share perspective with you in hopes of us becoming freer in relation to our time. Let's go. This is gonna be heavy. Get ready. Ready? Ah, number five. You can solve someone else's problem by providing a service and a product. You can solve someone else's problem and not be physically in the building. You can solve somebody else's problem and not be there. Again, example. We have Divine Works Education and Training has an ebook for sale. That ebook costs $25 USD. That ebook costs $25 USD. It's the basics on grant writing and application. People purchase the book, the ebook, because that's something that they want to learn about, or that's something that they can see themselves doing or being a part of in the future. We may put it out there for them, but sometimes in conversation, a person will ask me about it, and they'll tell me the reason why they thinking about purchasing the book. Once I tell them that it costs $25 and that every time we experience something in relation to grant writing application, we update the book, they will normally purchase it because it's an investment. They purchase it one time and they have a lifetime of updates that they receive based on experience that we have in relation to grant writing, proposals, and applications. I give that because I don't have to be physically present in order for them to receive the ebook, the product. I don't have to be physically present. It's sent via an email. And then they read it and they can see answers to some of the problems that they have. But let's say they needed some more clarity. They can link up with me and we can get on the Zoom and I can give them more insight, details, and clarity on the contents in the book. I'm providing a product and a service, but I don't have to be physically or virtually present to provide them with a solution to the problem because they have already identified the problem that they have. That means that they are looking for a solution. When they find a solution and I tell them the cost and the value that's given or added in relation to the updates, it's a no-brainer. The cost is minimum, the value is maximum. Type that. The cost is minimum, the value is maximum. For the cost of investment, the return on investment is greater when you compare it to the investment itself. You can see that a couple of ways. We can see it long term in a monetary aspect, that the investment cost is minimum and the return cost is maximum. Or you can see it as it's enhancing that person's knowledge base. Because if you enhance a person's knowledge base in the age of information, I quote Dr. Pat Francis in my paraphrase that knowledge is more powerful than money in the information age. If you have information, if you have knowledge, and especially if you have understanding of that knowledge through experience and it transforms into wisdom, what you have will always be of great value. It's not you that is of the value because you can't put a dollar amount on a human being. We're all valuable, but you can put a measurable dollar amount on the service that you have when you understand that knowledge and the ongoing continual learning and evolution of your knowledge base can be seen in great value or can be seen as it is of great value to people. It's of great value to individuals. So I wanted to give you that example because when you have a product, it gives you your time back. It gives you your time back. And I'm going to quote my Facebook friend, Miss Davita, Miss Davita in London. You spell her last name because her last name has changed, but her last name is spelled Ademuywa. It used to be Davita Yami Alkaline, I believe, or Alkali, but her last name has changed, and this is uh, a conversation that her and I was involved in years ago, and it was a question that I asked her about investing versus spending. But I wanted to emphasize this portion because this is important for us because when I observe individuals, especially entrepreneurs, and an entrepreneur is still operating in the realm of earned income, meaning that he or she provides the service, and in exchange for the service they receive compensation from a monetary aspect, meaning fiat money. They may not see it as a problem. This is a key moment too. They may not see it as a problem because sometimes people don't see what they do as a problem because it's habitual. Sometimes people don't see what they have been doing as a problem because it's habitual or because the end result or the outcome presents them with what they need. You got it? Sometimes when something is done so habitually, it just becomes routine. It that person may not see it as a problem. That's where the education come into play. But until they realize it, their behavior pattern may not change. But when life happens, it can become a problem. For example, and then I'm gonna read this and we'll close this class out. I cut hair. Let's just say I cut hair. And I've been cutting hair for 10 years. I've been making what we consider as good money cutting hair. But I go to my daughter's, volleyball game. I go to the stand and get some popcorn. I get my little bag of popcorn, for myself and my daughters to watch my daughter play. And I slip on somebody spilled some Sprite on the floor and I slip and I break my hand, my right hand. I'm right-handed. I break my right hand. That stops my income. When life is lifing, it will arise or it will equate to problems that weren't there before, which puts us in a position of being reactive instead of proactive. So this last paragraph I'm gonna give you, it's gonna be this is all proactive, but this is really gonna be proactive as I give you explanation on what this means to me, meaning not by definition in my logic, but by definition in my life. It reads, this is Davida, because the value of money we have is constantly decreasing. If you were employed about 5 years ago, you were being paid $20 per hour. We'll talk about that in a second, the per hour thing. And now you are still being paid $20 per hour. You will be receiving less for the same value you were employed to give as a result of inflation. What is she saying? 5 years ago, I was making $20 per hour. I'm still making $20 per hour. I'm receiving less dollars for the same value. I'm receiving less dollars for the same value as a result of inflation. That $20 is not $20 anymore because $20 5 years ago via inflation, I was able to buy more, but I'm providing the same value. Therefore, the $20 per hour is the same. Now, let me say this from my great, great speaker, Jim Rohn. We don't make dollars per hour. We earn. This is a Cage remix. We earn dollars per value. What is value? You want to go back to it? Let's go. Value is what's important to the potential client or customer or the client or customer, not what's important to you, not what's important to me as the service or product provider. It's what's important to the potential customer or client or the customer or client. They identify what's important based on their education via experience, which revealed the problem to them. That's the easiest way to provide value. The more value you provide, the more value you provide, the more compensation you have the ability to receive, the more infectious the word of mouth will be. Let me read this last portion. 5 years later, oh my goodness, somebody typed the word developed. 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 She writes, 5 years later, you should have developed over time. So you are probably given a lot more than you're being paid. When you go to work, you are supposed to be giving value in exchange for value. I will elaborate on this and we will wrap this up. This is going to be some heavy stuff. Now, you may not see this as being heavy, but if you go through the video again and really hear it, you will see that if the comprehension comes and the assimilation of it comes, then your life is looking different. 5 years later, you should have developed over time. So you are probably given a lot more than you are being paid. In the ideal situation, we should have developed over the 5 year period, personally and professionally. We should have developed in both spheres. Personally, as I interact with people, because the healthier that I can interact with individuals, the more opportunities to provide the service or product will come. Professionally, I should have developed as well. You develop professionally by various ways. Me, I develop professionally by my reps and my reflection in association with my reps. What are reps for me? When we go into environments and we provide group sessions, those are my reps. So once I do a rep, which can be a session for 45 minutes to an hour, there's reflection time. What could we have done better to improve your reps or practice? You need a coach. You need a coach or an outside perspective that has no vested interest in you as a person. We distribute surveys. We distribute surveys to every school that we go to on a larger scale. When we go to schools for a substantial period of time, or it may be one day, but the large scale means that there's at least 200 or more students that we serve. Once we get those results back, we're looking to improve. So improvement and development is intentional. Another way it can take place is as you add to your certifications or degrees. As you obtain more information, you achieve additional certifications, accreditations, or degrees. However, when you take that route, it still needs to be put in application to really say that you have developed. Sometimes people are in their specialty or industry over a substantial period of time, and out of assumption, we believe that we have gotten better over time. Yeah, that's not true. We can look at any other industry. I like to put an emphasis on sports because people really relate to sports. But there has been some people that have been in the MLB, NFL, NBA, WNBA, and they may have been in these leagues for a substantial period of time and have not improved. Improvement and development is intentional. When you go to work, you are supposed to be giving value in exchange for value. When you go to work, you are supposed to be giving value in exchange for value. And I know I've been emphasizing this and I got to continue to emphasize it. When we go to work, and when we go to work, we always, let me say this. When we go to work, our assumption is that we're going to a physical place to provide a service, a brick and mortar. But the but that is work as a verb. When we go to work and we have another dimensional expression, we're speaking about a noun in terms of a product. When I go to work, I'm going in my creativity mode to produce a product. But just to keep it simple, we can say that when we go on to work, we're going to a brick and mortar or physical place to provide whatever service that we provide. In that aspect, we should be exchanging value for value. But we got to continue to understand that value means what is important to the person or the group or the people that we provide the service to. If they perceive what we have to offer in service and product as value, then we are exchanging value for value because we're giving them what's important to them and they're giving back to us what is important to us. Yep. If I were to give you something to leave with as far as being an entrepreneur or business owner, because those are two different those are two different items on the menu, this is what I would say. Listen for what people complain about. Listen for what people complain about. Listen for what people identify as problems. It's not about what you want to give them, it's about what they need. It's about what they have identified that they need. You can educate them on what you believe that they need. But if you go that route, please make sure that you use the service or product that you are offering them because that's going to give you a legitimate experience to be able to share with them as education to give them the confidence to invest in what you have to offer. You have to give them time and not be on their heels about what you have offered them. And that would be what I would share for us in this uh, uh, master class of sorts, I would say. And when there's a problem identified by your potential customers or clients, there lies value. There lies value. My Facebook friend in Canada, Peter Nugent, I believe that's how you pronounce his name because him and I haven't spoken in a while. He opened up to me the three different expressions of, or he he shared with me the three types or personalities that provide value. He gave me the value adder, or let me say it in order of impact. Value supporter, value adder, and value creator. You want to be a value creator, meaning that you have created a service or product of value that was in existence. Once we reach that point, we can get our time back. We won't be heavy primarily providing a service. We'll have balance in providing a service and a product. Thank you for being here today. Most appreciated. We'll do these Zooms that may not be as long. We may stay with them between the 20 and 30 minutes, but I had a lot to share concerning this topic for the singular purpose to see people free and get their time back. And as a combat or tool to combat these skyrocketing prices that life is bringing, my goal was to give something that was more so non-traditional that can get us to brainstorm and think how to provide value, how to go about offering our services and products to clients, and how to operate in the dimension of service and product and to understand the in-depth meaning of work for us to be able to provide maximum service in minimum amount of time and receive the compensation that's warranted by the service and the product that we provide to bring a different quality of life to our existence and equate to us becoming time free. Enjoy your evening, enjoy your weekend. Signing off. We'll talk with you soon.